Hello everyone, today we'll be watching in Estonia, Recreating the Disasters, episode 12. So now we're on series 2 of Recreating the Disasters. I already made episode 11 if you haven't watched it yet. So let's enjoy this video.
Now at this point, water is rapidly flooding onto the decks of the ship. She's rolled over pretty heavily, and it looks like there's water coming out of the bow door. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Recreating the Disasters. Today, we're focusing on the Estonia. So yeah guys, let's get into the video. Alright, so here we have the Estonia in front of us, and we also have the Celia robot, or, well, the best version of that ship we can get in the game here as well, and we'll talk about that ship in a little bit. But for now, Jake Killen, do you want to give us a little bit of background to the Estonia?
Yeah, so the ship was originally ordered from Maya Werft by a Norwegian shipping company with intended traffic between Norway and Germany. Unexpectedly, the company withdrew their order and the contract went to Rederi Absali, one of the partners in the Viking Line consortium. Originally, the ship was to be a sister ship to Diana II, built in 1979 by the same shipyard for Rederi Absali. When Sally took over the construction contract, the ship was lengthened from approximately 449 feet to approximately 509 feet, and the superstructure of the ship was largely redesigned. The construction of the ship's bow consisted of an upwards opening visor and a car ramp that was placed inside the visor when it closed. The Estonia was originally built in 1980 as the Viking Sally until 1990 when she was renamed to the Celia Star. The name was then changed again to the Wasa King in 1991. Then for a final time in 1993 as Estonia under Esteline. As a cruise ferry, she could transport not only passengers, but cars and large trucks through entrances in the bow and stern. With 9 decks, she could serve passengers comfortably. These decks included large open sun decks, restaurants, a swimming pool, a nightclub, a cinema, and many cabins and bunks.
Alright, so thank you, Jake Killen. We're going to wait here a little bit longer because the sun has just risen, and, well, that's not when the ship departed. It was around 7 p.m., and not early in the morning like it is right now. So we'll just jump cut, and then once we're there, we'll get going. Alright, so we're approaching that time where we should be leaving port, and I'm going to hand it over to Jake Killen once again to sort of talk about that. So, Jake Killen?
Yeah, so Estonia departed Tallinn in Estonia slightly behind schedule at around 7:15 p.m. on September 27, 1994, and had been expected in Stockholm the next morning at around 9 a.m. She was carrying around 989 people, which included 803 passengers and 186 crew. Due to poor cargo management and distribution, the ship had a slight starboard list when leaving port.
So that's interesting. I didn't really know that the ship had a starboard list until researching for this video. So yeah, we are now leaving, and we are making our way to Stockholm, Sweden. Or, well, Southampton, because there is no Stockholm, Sweden. Just have to make do with what we have, but hey, it's fine. Now, unlike what you see right now, the weather was awful. Massive waves, winds gusting up to 60 miles an hour, and a lot of rain. So you didn't want to be outside. You wanted to mainly spend your time inside where it was safe and dry and not freezing and cold and wet. So a lot of the people were in their cabins or in some of the public spaces on board. Now, Jake Killen, what was it like inside the ship while all of this was going on?
Yeah, so as the seas were slamming the ship and causing it to roll heavily from side to side, it became so aggressive that one survivor reported hearing car alarms going off from within the car deck as she passed that area.
Yeah, so you can imagine the ship was rolling so violently that any of those vehicles were now sliding around, crashing into other vehicles, crashing into the wall. It was pretty bad, and not to mention people were being thrown around, falling over. The shows were really just a disaster, and it would get worse as time went on.
Yeah, at around 1 a.m., a metallic bang was heard, presumably caused by a heavy wave hitting the bow doors. When the bow door indicator light was checked, no signs of issues were found. Over the next 10 minutes, similar noises were reported by passengers and other crew. And at 1:15 a.m., the visor is believed to have separated and tore open the loading ramp behind it.
So yeah, at this point, water was beginning to flood into the car deck, and the ship was beginning to roll faster and faster over to the starboard side. Now you can imagine, with all that water entering the car deck, you've got the free surface effect, which is when water shifts over to one side, it pulls the ship with it, and the water continues to move over to that side, causing the entire ship to roll over. Now, as you can see, the ship is beginning to roll over, and around this point, a mayday was issued, right?
Yeah, so a mayday was made at around 1:22 a.m., with the closest ship being the Celia Europa, which is what the ship is that I'm playing right now.
And you can see him just over there, and it looks like some of my lifeboats are sailing over in your direction, which is good. In reality, the lifeboats were very difficult to launch because the ship is rolling so heavily over to that side. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play some of that audio of that mayday so you can hear what was going on between the two ships and what was actually being communicated. So you can take a listen to that.
Mayday, mayday. Estonia, Europa, are you flying calling Mayday? Estonia, what's going on? Can you reply? This is Estonia. Kuka se on täällä? Europa, Estonia. Yes, Estonia, this is Silja. Hyvää huomenta, puhutko sä suomea? Joo, puhun suomea. Joo, meillä on nyt tässä ongelma. On paha kallistuma oikealle puolelle. Uskon, että oli pari 30 astetta. Voisitko sä tulla apuun ja pyytää myös Viking Linein apun? Joo, Viking Line on tässä perässä ja meni varmaan tietoon. Ja voitko antaa sun position? Siis meidän pätkät on, meillä on blackout ja emme saa nyt, mä en osaa sanoa sitä totta. Okei, selvä. Ryhdytään toimiin.
Wow. I never knew that noise was that communication was going on. Because I was never on the ship.
Now at this point, water is rapidly flooding onto the decks of the ship. She's rolled over pretty heavily, and it looks like there's water coming out of the bow door. Now unfortunately, you can see that the bow door is not broken off. We can't really simulate that in-game, but we're doing our best here. And you can see the ship is now significantly rolled over to one side, and it looks like it's going to become day soon, which is not accurate, but again, we're just trying to do our best with what we have in-game. Now, because the ship rolled over so quickly, it made escaping the ship incredibly difficult. For example, survivors became bottlenecked in hallways as well as stairways, and some hallways that went down across the ship just became massive caverns, which people unfortunately fell into and did die from that, because it is quite a drop. So inside the ship, it was just awful. People being trapped, people were dying. Barely anybody was getting out onto the main deck.
Sorry, I was
but
just
somewhere around 100 or 200 people were able to get out onto the deck, and they started to face other issues, like looters, and also that the life jacket boxes had been painted shut. They had painted over the scene where you open up the box, and they couldn't get the box open, which made getting life jackets for everybody that was on the deck incredibly difficult. Now, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that this is a bad situation. Some of the passengers have actually found a way to get onto the hull, and in doing so, they're able to just sit there and at least rest for a moment. Now, one of these passengers had a digital, or, well, I think it was a digital camera, I could be wrong, but he took a couple of pictures to try to use his flash to signal another ship in the area. I'm not sure if it was the Celia Europa or not, but he inadvertently took a couple of photos, and I'll just flash this up on screen. These are really scary and very eerie. I mean, you can just see in these photos how frightening that is, because they're pretty much completely rolled over at this stage. We don't really see that in our simulation here. It's just sort of rolling onto its side, but it did actually roll upside down, which made escaping at that point pretty much impossible, at least if you were inside the ship. So there it is.
Like
the Estonia is about to go under for good now.
From the 2006 movie,
Poseidon
Adventure.
And it is about to go, and it is gone. So there we go. The Estonia has just sunk under the waves. So yeah, there we go. It is slowly descending under the waves. You got some bubbles kind of working their way out of the ship as the pressure increases down at these lower depths, and we're about to see it go under. And wow, hold on. That's something I haven't seen before. There are little cars on the seabed. So they like fell out of the ship or something. Alright, so now that the sinking has concluded, what happened after?
Yeah, of the 989 on board, only 137 people survived.
Now, there are conspiracy theories with this as well, right, Jake Hilla?
Yeah, so I think from what I heard, there's like a theory that there was a bomb or something on board. And another one I heard is that a submarine actually hit the ship and caused it to sink. because the day or so after, I can't remember how long it was, but after the sinking, there was a submarine that was being towed in for repairs because the front of it was smashed and damaged heavily.
So yeah, some interesting theories there, and the main one is that the bow visor broke off, water came flooding in, and, well, filled the car deck, and since there was no watertight divisions or bulkheads or doors in that area, there was no way to divide the water off, so it
Okay, guys, don't forget. Wait, hold on. Let's
sink by the bow or the stern necessarily. It just kind of rolled over to one side because all the water moved as one large body over that side, and yeah, it rolled. So that's the main theory, but these theories are pretty interesting. So yeah, that does conclude our recreation of the Estonia sinking. If you get
Okay, guys, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.